What does the saying, living the good life, mean to you? For some people, it means wealth. For other people, it means happiness. For myself, it means the means to take care of myself and the ability to help others. I believe the most important thing we can do in our lives is to enrich our world and empower the people around us. Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give." Volunteering is a way to give your life value in so many ways. When we were younger, my mother always had us in volunteering activities, possibly as a way to get us out of our hair, but also she believed it was really important that we learned how to help others. As a parent myself, I continued the tradition, and I've worked with all different kinds of volunteer organizations, from working with individuals, small businesses, to local and national organizations. Volunteer work enriches life in so many ways. The act of volunteering itself can improve your outlook on life and your mental health. It offers personal growth, expands your social network, utilizes your personal skills and resources, and improves your community. Anne Frank once said, "No one has ever become poor by giving." Volunteering strengthens your personal health and well-being. When you spend time doing things for others, you are less focused on your own personal problems. I've suffered from depression and low self-esteem for most of my life. The healthiest and most fun I've ever had is when I was volunteering. I've done physical labor through volunteer work, painting at a summer camp, installing siding on a home, staining park benches, and pulling weeds at a state park, and I've had the best time working with others to get things accomplished. Research conducted by the Harvard School of Public Health shows that people who volunteer spend 38% fewer nights in the hospital than non-volunteers. And other studies noted that volunteers have better health, more stamina, and lower stress levels. A Corporation for National and Community Service report notes that research demonstrates that volunteering leads to better health. Those who volunteer have lower mortality rates, greater functional ability, and lower rates of depression than later in life than those who do not volunteer. Warren Buffett once said, "Price is what you pay, and value is what you get." Volunteering can showcase your skills and make a positive impression on employers and business connections. Through my work with the local animal shelter, I was able to get a letter of recommendation from the police dog warden. This letter allowed me the opportunity to work directly with the Humane Society, showing dogs to get adopted. Because I was able to show that I had the skills and abilities to work directly with the animals, I was able to be utilized by the Humane Society in a way that would best help them. In September of 2011, LinkedIn, the professional networking site, added a field for members to list their volunteer work in their profiles after a survey found that 41% of employers said they considered volunteer work as important as paid work, and that 20% said they made a hiring decision based on volunteering work. I volunteered for many months at a Salvation Army food soup kitchen, and as a former assistant manager of a fast food restaurant, I had experience with food safety, large food prep, and organizing a food service line. After some time, I was offered the job as kitchen manager, and eventually I got an introduction to the company I currently work for now. According to the survey of 202 human resource executives, skilled volunteer work, such as helping a nonprofit with its finances, make job applicants look more appealing to hiring managers. Keurig Ashley, a self-help author and personal development success and life coach, once said, "The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your contribution." Volunteering improves the community that you live in. I currently volunteer as a driver for people taking a Rise Out of Poverty class. It only takes a few hours of my time and gas each week, but without my contribution, these people wouldn't be able to get to this class. They're learning skills and resources needed to become more productive members of the community that I live in. Volunteering your time allows organizations to focus on other areas that need attention. When I volunteered my time to stain park benches and clean up the beach at the park, that meant that the park maintenance could actually work on cutting down dead trees and improving the roads into the park because they didn't have to do that work. Even when I don't have time to volunteer, I use my skills as a couponer to donate items to shelters. I'm able to give shelters items that they need, and they in turn can use their money for other resources. A few times a year, I donate spices, and they absolutely love that. They can use the money that they would otherwise spend on spices to buy basics and staples and expand meal options. There are lots of different types of volunteering available. You can look locally in your community. There's all different ways you can help out. There are websites that you can search. All for Good, Volunteer Match, Idealist.org, Network for Good, and Points of Light Foundation are just a few. There's also several days and weeks out of the year that are dedicated to volunteers and volunteer work. Martin Luther King Day in January, Random Acts of Kindness Week in February, National Volunteer Week, usually the third week of April, Join Hands Saturday in May, National Day of Service and Remembrance is September 11th, Be the Change Day is October 4th, Make a Difference Day is the fourth Saturday in October, and National Family Volunteer Day is the Saturday before Thanksgiving in November. And these are just a few places you can look and find out about volunteering. In conclusion, not only does volunteering enhance your personal life, it enhances the lives of the people and places in your community. An anonymous author once wrote, "Volunteering is the ultimate exercise in democracy. You vote in elections once a year, but when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community you want to live in." And Anne Frank said, "How wonderful it is that nobody need to wait a single moment before starting to improve the world." So, how about you? Are you going to start to improve your world? Thank you.